In the American imagination, the founding of our democracy is often viewed as a static event, a moment frozen in the 18th century. But democracy is not a finished product. It is an evolving promise. Today, we examine Martin Luther King Jr., not just as a civil rights leader, but as a modern founding father who sought to complete the work begun in Philadelphia. This is the story of his most difficult challenge, the Chicago Campaign. By 1966, the movement for racial equality moved north. In Chicago, King encountered a different kind of monster. Unlike the explicit, state-sanctioned Jim Crow laws of the South, Northern inequality was woven into the very fabric of the city's geography. As Jonathan Eig notes in King, A Life, the segregation here was less about whites-only signs and more about invisible boundaries. These boundaries, dictated by real estate agents, bank loans, and municipal planning, created two separate and unequal Chicagos. King realized that the right to vote meant little if a family was trapped in a slum by design. Housing was the cornerstone of this structural inequality. It wasn't just about where people slept. It was about where they learned and how they earned. Because schools were funded by neighborhood property taxes, housing discrimination effectively guaranteed educational inequality for Black children. In Chapter 27, Eig details how King moved into a rundown apartment on the West Side to experience this slum life firsthand. He saw that the high cost of living in poor conditions wasn't an accident. It was a system that drained wealth from Black communities while denying them the mobility to leave. To King, this was a fundamental violation of the American dream. The resistance King met in Chicago was visceral. When he led marches through all-white neighborhoods like Marquette Park, he was met with a level of hostility that shocked even him. He famously remarked that he had never seen rages so hateful, not even in Mississippi or Alabama. This resistance revealed a painful truth. Many who supported civil rights in the South were unwilling to accept integration in their own backyards. It highlighted a national contradiction, a democracy that claimed equality in principle but defended segregation in practice. The Chicago Campaign marked a pivot in King's philosophy. He began to argue that true equality required more than just the end of legal segregation. It required a total reconstruction of the American social order. He shifted his focus from civil rights to human rights, insisting that economic security and decent housing were as fundamental to democracy as the right to vote. In this chapter, we see King's leadership evolve. He wasn't just asking for a seat at the table. He was asking why the table was built on a foundation of exclusion. By challenging these structural barriers, King expanded the definition of what it means to be an American citizen. Like the founders before him, he forced the nation to look at its founding documents and ask, do we mean what we say? By pushing for housing and economic reform, he helped create the modern multi-ethnic democracy we live in today. He took the abstract concept of equality and gave it hands and feet in the streets of Chicago, cementing his legacy as a modern architect of the American Republic. Today, in our classrooms and communities, we see the fruits of these struggles and the work that remains. The diversity we often take for granted in academic spaces was paid for by the risks King took in the 1960s. As we reflect on his time in Chicago, we are reminded that our current opportunities are shaped by the structural changes he championed. We are all participants in the democracy he helped rebuild. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Chicago Campaign reminds us that democracy is an ongoing project. His legacy is not a statue in a park, but the continued efforts to ensure that equality is lived, not just legislated. By expanding the meaning of freedom, he ensured that the American story continues to grow towards justice.
We face the difficulties of today and tomorrow. I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today